No more braces. I just got these retainers I gotta wear now. So yeah, my braces journey has come to a completion. Speaking of, well, not speaking of, but everybody knows difficult people. You know exactly who I'm talking about when I say difficult people. These are people who throw a fit at every minor inconvenience and confrontational, won't agree with anybody. You know, difficult. And then, you know, there's on the opposite end of the spectrum, there's the nice people who just, yes, agree with everything, don't speak up, you know, take things lying down, passive, possibly not even passive aggressive, maybe just passive, and they take it. Like me. But I'm working on it. So, oftentimes, especially at work, difficult people get better treatment. And here's why. So you got your manager. Manager is the one who has to go between the people who are actually doing the work, you know, the grunts like me, and the upper level management who are most of the time sitting in front of computers and pretending that they're important. So, management needs to please both sides, basically. Which, middle management sucks, just for the record. Terrible. Worst. Because you need to please both sides. So the upper level wants you to just get stuff done as cheaply as possible. The people on the ground, the grunts, are trying to make as much money as possible while doing the least amount of heavy lifting. So the middle manager is stuck trying to get the most amount of work out of the me people that they can. And a lot of times this is like just regular work, but then a lot of times, you know, there's extra work. There's little things that they need you to do. Like today, I had to take a truck out to Missouri, run an errand, basically, move a pallet, and then back to Topeka. And this is not something on the normal schedule. Monday isn't even on the normal schedule, but I said yes to it, and I did it, and I was asked to do it because I am not a difficult person, because I am passive, and because I usually say yes when it comes to hours at work, because I am trying to make money. I get paid by the hour. Vis-a-vis, the only way to make more money is to get more hours, and that's why I say yes to such things. So, yeah. Now, if I was a difficult person, first of all, I probably wouldn't have even been asked to do this, because a difficult person throws a fit when asked to do something out of the ordinary. Now, difficult people are also often very productive because they have high energy, they can go get it done, and they don't take no shit. They don't let obstacles stand in their way. They remove any obstacles in their way and power on through them. So Well, difficult people are very good workers, usually, sometimes. They probably wouldn't be asked to do something like I'm doing today because they would throw a fit about it, even if they do it a lot faster than I'm doing it. That's for sure. I'm slow, and there's no two ways about it. But I also say yes to stuff. So, yeah, the funny thing is that the people who are, it's not the good workers who end up doing extra work. It's the agreeable people who will say yes to it without throwing a fit. Case in point, I have been back in the Army, and since then, middle management. Basically, I was a squad leader. And I was a squad leader, and we had to do a lot of really, really, really stupid shit because it was the military. Now, I was friends with a lot of the guys in my squad before I became their squad leader, so it was a bad situation. And I would try to tell, if I tried to tell these guys, hey, we need to go do this really, really stupid thing. We need to go to the Connex, we need to pull every single tool out of there, we need to count it and inventory it, even though they haven't been touched since the last time we counted and inventoried them. Something stupid as that. A lot of times, these guys, they just wouldn't do it. Like, I just got told no. And so what I'd end up doing is getting the guys who I knew would help me without complaining, and we'd all go down there and do it together. Or I'd just do it myself, which, yeah, not cool. But, yeah, the people that I would go ask were the ones who would just say yes. And they would go down there, they wouldn't complain. Well, we would all complain, but we'd go down there and we'd get it done, and it'd get done. The stupid thing that we were asked to do. I could go back and report and say, we did the stupid thing that you wanted us to do. And the difficult people basically got out of it. And that's kind of how it goes. Because if you're in middle management, you know, chances are that you were not difficult at some point and were easy to work with at some point. And therefore, probably not an alpha dog. Although, you know, they don't stay in middle management long. They rise through the ranks. But if you're a, you know, lifelong middle management or something like that, yeah, like, you probably got there because you were agreeable and not difficult. So your tendency will be to not want to deal with these difficult people. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is being difficult pays off. It really does. Like, difficult people actually get treated better. They don't have to do as much bullshit because people basically don't want to hear them complaining about having to deal with bullshit. And they don't want to be the one to have to absorb the fit that gets thrown. So it's kind of funny because at the end of the day, the difficult people actually get treated nicer than the nice people. The ironic part about it is that one of the ironic things, is that it is therefore easier for these more passive, nicer people to get punished. So they take their write-ups better. They even take firing better. So not only are they more likely to get the short end of the stick at work, when it comes to disciplinary action, getting fired, all these kind of things, it's actually more likely that the bad things will happen to them, once again, because nobody wants to deal with these difficult people. And, once again, because the difficult person may be more productive at the end of the day. On to the most ironic thing of all, is that, so you've got the nice people getting given a lot of attention to and requests from, and can you go do this, can you go do that, and you know, a lot of attention, unwanted, and also a lot of, you know, things happening, bad things. And most of these quiet, passive people want nothing in the world more than to be left alone. So because they're a yes person, they're getting asked a lot of things, they're getting given a lot of tasks, and at the end of the day, they don't want that. They really just want to get left alone and not noticed. And the difficult people are actually getting left alone because middle management doesn't want them throwing a fit, but they kind of like the confrontation. They like back and forth. They want to argue. They want to hash things out and see if there's a better way to do things. They fight because they like it. And so when they're getting left alone and not called for special missions, and you know, people kind of let them do what they want because they don't want to deal with the consequences, that's actually not what they want, because they would love to get written up and have a fight about it, because it's who they are. They like to fight, they like to argue, they are confrontational. So that's the most ironic thing of all, in my opinion, is that the nice passive people who just want to get left alone and do their job in silence and peace get a lot of attention from the middle management because they'll say yes to stuff. Whereas the people who want to argue with management and they would love to have a discussion and love to have a back and forth with the boss, they actually get the passive treatment. Like, they get left alone and left to their own devices because no one wants to deal with them. So at the end of the day, nobody gets what they want. That's life, ain't it?